Hi, I'm Snez, personal trainer, healthy lifestyle coach, and your guide to feeling your best. This podcast is a segment from my weekly radio show, Wellbeing Wednesdays, broadcast live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. It's all about sharing real, practical tips to help you move more, eat better, and live healthier without the overwhelm. Let's dive in, shall we? Now, coming up next is a segment that I wanted to share with you, and this was a conversation that I had chatting to a member recently, and she had completed a health questionnaire that assessed her lifestyle-related cancer risk. And one of the things that stood out to her from the results was that she wasn't getting enough vigorous cardio activity each week. Now, the recommendations are that you get 30 minutes of vigorous activity daily. And this stood out to her, not because she wanted to lose any extra weight or she just felt she had to work harder, but all of a sudden she could see a really clear reason that by not doing this extra cardio, it was increasing her risk according to the form that she was filling out, which was really interesting. So we sat down together and we mapped out a simple plan that I wanted to share with you. So she was already doing 2 personal training sessions a week, which is fantastic. She was getting the strength training in, and I would definitely consider that to be 2 days of vigorous activity. But she wanted to intentionally boost her cardiovascular fitness to get that 30 minutes of vigorous activity daily, which is the recommendation to reduce certain cancer risks according to the research. So what we basically did, we just sort of went, okay, well, what do you have at home? What do you enjoy to do? You know, what would you like to do? What sorts of things do you want to get into? And this member did express that she was interested in getting into some running, and that was important for her. She also let me know that she does have a rower at home, and she said she had some space both inside and outside of the house that she could do some activity. And what I really loved about what she said and what she was doing was she was finding ways to be active that were low cost. They were also going to be not taking too much out of her day. So a lot of the times we think we have to move away from our homes. But if you've got some steps or if you've got a length of driveway, there's so much that you can do to get out and get active, let alone just walking around a block around your home and things like that. So a lot of the times we tend to dismiss the opportunities that we have to just create simple routines at home. So we broke it down into Saturday morning, trying the park run and just seeing if she enjoyed that and if that was something that she could get herself into. And then she also mentioned she had a rower at home. So we decided we're going to add the rower in 10 minutes at a time. And she was going to aim to put that in, and we sort of plugged that into the mornings where she felt she could get up and do a 10-minute row and then get herself ready for work. And then we also created a simple circuit around her home. So we did some step-ups, some fast-paced walking laps around the home. We did some crab walks side to side. And by the time we put that all together, we created a little circuit that was probably going to take her about 15 minutes. And if she wanted to repeat it twice, it would have given her that 30 minutes. But it wasn't anything about overhauling her whole week. It was just realistic movement that she was really interested and excited to do, especially the ones around the home, because it could get her moving and increase her activity levels and give her that energy boost that does come from moving our bodies. But it didn't require her to have to get into the car, drive somewhere and chunk out, an hour and a half out of her day. So that was really good. So the other thing that we did was once we put those things in place, we actually looked at her week and went, okay, well, where will these fit into your week realistically? Now, it's good to think big and go, yep, I'm going to do this half an hour thing every single day, but it may not be realistic. So she looked at her day and factored in the days that she felt she was more active at work. So that wasn't probably going to be a day where she would need to do this extra activity. And once we mapped that out and actually plugged it into a day, and she was going to start to commit to that, then we added some simple progress measures, because what's really fantastic is seeing a return on investment. Now, we know that increasing our activity level and doing that 30 minutes of vigorous activity daily can decrease our risk of certain cancers. And that in and of itself is the benefit. But as humans, we like to see something a little bit more tangible and something more short term. So some of the things that we did was I asked her to take her resting heart rate, which I think I'm going to do a whole segment on this one. So check back in. But resting heart rate was basically when she got up, just to see what that is, because by adding the extra cardio in over a 4-week time frame where we're going to reassess again, will show a change in resting heart rate if she was doing it consistently. The other thing that we were going to do is in the studio next time she was in, we're going to do a 2-minute step test, which is also going to give us, it's a basic measure of cardiovascular fitness and one that you can also do at home. We also looked at, well, when she is rowing for 10 minutes, so she had the duration of time, which was going to be 10 minutes, and then we're going to monitor, well, how far did she row? So obviously as she gets fitter, she will probably be able to row faster, or even to begin with, looking at, well, how long was she able to row for? She may not have been able to row continuously for 10 minutes the first time that she did it. And then the last thing we were going to monitor was her park run time. So did that improve over time, which it obviously will if she's doing all these other things as well. So we've given it a 4-week window to review her progress, and she has a weekly tick-off sheet for her activities, and she's asked me to check in on her. So she's not just setting a goal, but we actually built in some accountability and some feedback as well to keep her motivated. So I wanted to share that with you today because so many of us think, oh, I just need to move more, but we don't actually take the next step and ask, well, how much, how often, and really importantly, for what reason? And when we have a solid why as a result for our exercise, for the purpose of our exercise, the motivation there and the desire to keep consistent is so much greater than just thinking, oh, we should do exercise because we think it's good for us. So we need a stronger why and definitely the accountability, but a plan in place. So I thought I'd share that with you. So now it's time to create your own cardio plan. So if you are not doing any exercise at all, you want to start a little bit smaller. Absolutely. You probably won't be doing the 30 minutes daily. You may not even be able to find the time, let alone have the actual fitness to achieve that. But I'll talk you through how we can do that. And then just looking at what you're going to do, but plugging it into your day as well. So first one is, let's get really clear on the why. So is it about heart health? Is it about reducing your cancer risk? Is it about improving your energy? Pick something that really motivates you or something that you are currently struggling with that you want to improve on. And then have a look at your week and think about where in your week are you going to be able to fit in that activity? So that's 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous cardio each week. Where can you put that in? Now, count the things that you're currently doing. So if you are doing a gym session already, count that. If you are doing any sort of bike riding or walking or playing netball or any activity or dancing, if you do any dancing classes, they absolutely count. So count them into your day. And then choose the 3 cardio options, or you might just choose one that you do 3 times a week. I really loved that this member offered some variety to herself. So some days we just don't feel like certain things. So there may be a Saturday morning where she gets up and doesn't feel like park run, or the weather's terrible, or she has something on and can't quite get to it. But she could go then jump on and do her 10-minute of her rowing. So find 3 different options that you could do. And that could be a walk. That could be just turning some music on and dancing around your kitchen or lounge area for 15 minutes. That will really get your heart rate up. If you've got a mini trampoline, you might do some bouncing. You might even want to spread that 15 or 30 minutes out in 5-minute intervals throughout the day. So what is it that you can actually do? And then create some simple measures like what we did that you can measure. So it might even be some perceived levels of energy, for example. You might say, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are my energy levels like on a day-to-day basis? And you might assess yourself as a 4. And then after doing this activity, you might assess yourself as a 6, for example. But look at those, or even use the ideas that I gave you, which was those simple ones that you can do at home. And then the last step is to build an accountability, whether you're going to use a checklist or a worksheet or tell a friend or do it with somebody else as well. And you can track each other and monitor each other, or ask someone to check in with you, or post your goals in Wellbeing Wednesdays with Snez, the group, and I will absolutely keep you on track. Pick a length of time, whether that's going to be 21 days or whether that's going to be 4 weeks. I wouldn't put it any longer than 6 weeks because you want to be able to reassess and not make it feel like it's a long, unachievable goal. But I really believe that this kind of health change that sticks, not because someone's told you to exercise more, but because you've connected the dots between your lifestyle and your long-term wellness. And I think that's what really strengthens our reasons to move. So if you've been meaning to move more, or if you've fallen off track lately, this is your little nudge with a simple, measurable and meaningful plan that you can do to get yourself moving more. Thanks for joining me on this segment from Wellbeing Wednesdays, as heard live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who might find it helpful and subscribe so you never miss a show. Want to catch the live broadcast? Well, you can tune in Wednesdays from 12 till 2 p.m. on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM, or find my info on Wellbeing Wednesdays with Snez, the Facebook group. Take care, stay healthy, and remember, it's the little choices every day that create big changes. Talk soon.